Love, it's the one thing that makes us feel most alive, and yet sometimes it's also what breaks us the deepest. Have you ever loved someone so much that the thought of losing them terrified you? Or maybe you've felt that quiet ache when someone drifts away, not with anger, but with silence. It's strange, isn't it, how something so beautiful can also bring so much fear. A friend of mine once told me, "I don't know who I am without him." She wasn't exaggerating, she meant it. She had built her whole identity around a person, around being loved. And when that relationship ended, she didn't just lose him, she lost herself. That's the kind of pain no one prepares you for, but it's also the kind of pain that reveals something profound about the human heart, about how easily we confuse love with attachment. You see, the Stoics, philosophers who lived over 2,000 years ago, understood this deeply. They didn't reject love, they just saw it differently. To them, love wasn't about possession or dependency, it was about connection, grounded in wisdom, not fear. Marcus Aurelius, one of Rome's greatest emperors, loved his wife deeply, but he wrote in his journal every morning as a reminder, "Everything I have, even the ones I love, is on loan from nature." That wasn't a cold statement, it was gratitude in its purest form. He knew that love becomes painful, not because it ends, but because we cling to it as if it should never change. The Stoics believe that to love is to accept impermanence, that real love isn't about holding on tighter, it's about holding with gentleness, knowing that one day life will ask you to let go. And I think that's one of the hardest lessons we ever learn. Because deep down, every one of us wants love to be permanent. We want guarantees. We want someone to promise they'll never leave, that nothing will change, that time will somehow stop for the moments we cherish most. But life doesn't work that way. People change, feelings shift, the universe keeps moving. And if your peace depends on someone staying the same forever, then love turns into suffering. That's what attachment does. It makes you forget that everything is temporary, even the most beautiful things. I've seen this not just in others, but in myself. There was a time I mistook attachment for love. I thought if I cared deeply, it meant I had to hold on, fix, protect, preserve. But the tighter I held, the more I felt anxious, controlling, exhausted. It wasn't love anymore. It was fear dressed as devotion. The Stoics teach a different way. They say, love fully, but remember, you can't own another person's soul. You can walk beside them. You can share your light, but you can't trap them in your expectations. Because the moment love becomes ownership, it stops being love. Epictetus, who was once a slave, understood the nature of attachment better than most. He said, "When you kiss your child, whisper to yourself, they may not be here tomorrow." That sounds harsh until you realize what he was really saying. Don't take love for granted. Be fully present with those you cherish, because nothing is promised. When you live with that awareness, you stop clinging, and start appreciating. It reminds me of a woman I once worked with, a widow in her 60s. She told me, "Every night I still talk to him. But now, instead of asking why he's gone, I thank him for being here at all." That's the Stoic heart, grief without bitterness, love without chains. So when we talk about Stoic lessons on love and attachment, we're not talking about being emotionless, we're talking about learning to love from strength, not from fear. To give without losing yourself, to care without needing control, to let love expand you, not consume you. Maybe right now you're in love, maybe you've lost someone, or maybe you're learning to love yourself after years of seeking validation from others. Wherever you are, these lessons are for you, because Stoicism isn't about rejecting love, it's about understanding it so deeply that it can no longer break you. In the next part of this video, we'll explore 6 timeless Stoic lessons that show how to love deeply while staying free. Lessons that will help you let go of attachment, fear, and dependency, and replace them with gratitude, balance, and peace. So take a deep breath, forget what the world taught you about love for a moment, and let's rediscover what the Stoics knew all along, that the most powerful love is the one that asks for nothing in return, and yet gives everything that matters. 1. Love without ownership. There's a quiet but dangerous belief many of us hold, that when we love someone they somehow belong to us. We start saying things like my partner, my person, my other half. And little by little that love starts to suffocate under the weight of possession. Epictetus once said, "When you love something, remember it is mortal." He didn't say it to kill romance, he said it to protect peace, because when you remember that nothing is truly yours, you start to love more purely, without fear, without clinging. I once spoke with a man who couldn't move on from his ex-wife, even years after their divorce. He said, "I gave her everything, how could she leave?" And I told him, maybe love isn't about giving to keep someone. Maybe it's about giving to free them. You see, when you love without ownership, you stop asking how long will this last, and start asking how can I honor this moment. True love is not about holding tighter, it's about holding better. 2. Understand that everything is borrowed. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning, everything you have is on loan from nature. That includes the people we love. It sounds harsh, but it's not. It's clarity. Everything we hold dear, our parents, our partners, our friends, will one day return to the universe. We don't get to choose when, but we do get to choose how we love them while they're here. When you see life this way, love becomes an act of gratitude instead of attachment. You start saying thank you more often. You start noticing the warmth of their laugh, the light in their eyes, the miracle of simply being together, even if just for a little while. A woman once told me, "I wish I'd appreciated my husband more before he passed. I thought we had time." That's the illusion attachment creates, the illusion of endless tomorrows. The Stoic, however, loves with full awareness of endings, and because of that, their love is deeper, not shallower. Everything is borrowed, so love gently, because every moment you share is already a gift. 3. Don't confuse love with dependency. There's a difference between needing someone and choosing someone. Attachment says, "I can't live without you." Love says, "I want to live with you, but I'm still whole on my own." Many of us grow up believing that love means merging identities, that the more we depend on someone, the more real it is. But dependency isn't love, it's fear of loneliness dressed as devotion. I once coached a young woman who said, "I feel anxious every time my boyfriend doesn't text back. It's like I stop existing." Her entire emotional state was tied to his attention. So I asked her, if your peace depends on his reply, who's really in control of your happiness? She paused and realized it wasn't her. The Stoics taught that your emotions should never be at the mercy of another person's behavior, because the moment your peace depends on something outside your control, you lose your freedom. And with it, your joy. To love someone truly is to stand beside them as two complete beings, not two broken halves trying to fill each other's emptiness. Love thrives not in need, but in choice. It's not, "I need you to be happy," but "I'm happy to share my happiness with you." That's the kind of love that lasts, calm, grounded, and free. 4. Expect change, not permanence. Seneca wrote, "Everything hangs by a thread." The Stoics didn't say this to make you fearful, but to remind you that life is fluid. Nothing, no feeling, no relationship, no season remains exactly as it is. The problem is, we want love to stay frozen in time. We want the honeymoon phase to last forever, the affection to never fade, the person to remain the same. But when love meets change, attachment panics. It says, "You're not who you used to be." And that's when suffering begins. I once counseled a couple who were drifting apart after 20 years. The husband said, "She's changed." I looked at him and said, "That's good. It means she's alive. The question is, have you grown with her, or have you stayed where she left you?" They both fell silent, because the truth is, change is not the enemy of love. Stagnation is. The Stoics accepted impermanence as nature's design. They believed real love flows with change instead of fighting against it. When you embrace that truth, you stop grieving every shift and start evolving with it. You begin to see that love, like a river, is beautiful because it moves. 5. Choose reason over obsession. When we fall in love, emotions take over: chemistry, excitement, the rush of connection. It feels intoxicating, but the Stoics warned us, emotion without reason leads to obsession. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Love from the soul, not from the senses." That doesn't mean to stop feeling, it means to see clearly even when you feel deeply. There's a man I know who confessed, "I can't think straight when I'm in love. I become someone else," and I told him, "That's not love, that's addiction." Because love should never make you lose yourself. It should help you find a wiser version of who you are. The Stoics believed that reason is not the opposite of love, it's the guide that keeps it pure. When you bring awareness into your emotions, you can love passionately without becoming a prisoner of passion. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop demanding and start understanding. It's like a fire, uncontrolled, it burns. Guided, it warms. Love without wisdom consumes, but love with clarity creates peace. 6. Love as a practice of virtue. For the Stoics, love wasn't just an emotion, it was a practice. To love meant to act with virtue, with kindness, patience, honesty, and courage. They believed that real love should make both people better, not weaker, not smaller, but more whole. Seneca once said, "The wise person is self-sufficient but still desires friends, not for utility, but for virtue." He meant that love is not a transaction, it's an expression of your highest nature. To love virtuously means to wish good for the other person, even when it doesn't benefit you. It's the mother who lets her child go to chase his dreams. It's the partner who supports growth, even if it means growing apart. It's the friend who forgives quietly because peace matters more than pride. Virtuous love isn't loud, it's steady, it's not desperate, it's grounded. It's not a roller coaster, it's a rhythm. And when you learn to love this way, with understanding instead of attachment, with reason instead of fear, love becomes what it was always meant to be, not a chain but a mirror, reflecting the best within you. The Stoics never told us to stop loving, they told us to love wisely, to love with open hands, not clenched fists, to see every person who enters our life as a gift, not a guarantee. When you learn to love without attachment, something beautiful happens. You stop fearing loss, because you realize love itself can never be lost. It transforms, it shifts, it changes shape, but it never disappears. In the next part, we'll bring these 6 lessons together: how to love deeply, freely, and with peace, even in a world that constantly changes. Because in the end, Stoic love isn't about loving less, it's about loving better. If you've come this far, maybe part of you has been carrying love, and the weight that often comes with it. The joy, the hope, the heartbreak, the longing. We've all been there, we've all loved someone so deeply that we forgot where they ended and where we began. And when that love changed or ended or slipped quietly away, we thought we had lost a part of ourselves. But the Stoics remind us, love doesn't belong to us, it flows through us. It's not something to capture, it's something to experience, to learn from, to grow through. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny." That includes the people we meet, the ones we lose, and the versions of ourselves we outgrow along the way. Because maybe, just maybe, every person we love is sent not to complete us, but to reveal us. to show us where we cling too tightly, where we fear too deeply, and where we still need to soften our hearts. One of my students once told me, "I'm afraid to love again. Every time I do, I end up broken." And I said, "You're not broken, you're just unfinished." The heart doesn't break to destroy you, it breaks to open you. It's how life teaches us tenderness, humility, and strength. The Stoics didn't see love as a weakness, they saw it as a discipline. To love someone while remaining calm, grounded, and free, that's the highest form of mastery, because it means you've learned the art of giving without losing yourself. Think about it. Love asks us to care but not to cling, to give but not to expect, to hold but not to own, to stay open even when the world tempts us to close off. That's not detachment, that's maturity. That's Stoic love, the kind that elevates the soul instead of enslaving it. And maybe that's the real secret the Stoics discovered 2,000 years ago. That peace doesn't come from protecting your heart, it comes from purifying it. When you learn to love without attachment, every goodbye becomes less of an ending and more of a quiet blessing. You realize that what truly matters never leaves. It simply changes form. So, if you're listening to this and still holding on to someone who's gone, or to a version of love that's no longer alive, let this be your reminder. You can let go with gratitude, not resentment. You can move on without closing your heart. Because love, real love, doesn't end when people leave. It endures in how it changes you, how it humbles you, and how it teaches you to love again, wiser, freer, and gentler than before. Maybe the purpose of love was never to last forever. Maybe it was to awaken something eternal within you. So tonight, before you go to sleep, ask yourself one question. What would love look like if I stopped trying to hold it and started learning from it? Write it down, reflect on it, because that's how transformation begins, not in forgetting but in understanding. And if this message spoke to you, if it helped you see love a little clearer, then don't walk this path alone. Join me on this journey of inner strength and serenity. Subscribe to Stoic Awakening more, like this video, and share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder tonight. Because when wisdom spreads, the world softens. And when one heart learns to love without fear, we all grow a little freer. Love is not about keeping someone forever, is it? It's about being someone who can love forever. That's what the Stoics taught. And maybe that's what we're all here to learn.